What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. This week's shout out goes to Angie M, who says, love this. Now we just need some gospel tutorials, please. As opposed to learning a gospel song, we're going to talk about gospel characteristics and apply it to a chord progression. That way you're playing the sound of gospel and not necessarily a gospel song. So you can make your own gospel songs or make your own music sound more gospel-y, more jazzy. So in this video, we're going to talk about the 2-5-1 progression. By the end, you'll be able to play that progression, add some sevenths and ninths, and then I'm going to show you how to sauce it up even more. Okay? So let's get into it. I think it's easiest to think about this in the key of C because it's all the white notes and it's the easiest scale to play. So, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. That's the C major scale, and whatever key you're playing in, there's a scale for that key and there's numbers attached to each note in that scale. So, in the key of C, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. It usually starts over back at 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But when we start adding 7th tones, 9th tones, and 11th tones, you got to keep counting. Anyway, that's the C major scale. Let's isolate the 2nd, the 5th, and the 1 notes from this scale because the progression we're learning is the 2-5-1 progression. All right, so the 2nd note in this C major scale is a D. The 5th note is a G, and then the 1 is what we start on, the C. So the 2-5-1 in the key of C major is D, G, C. Let's attach some chords to that. We're going to go D minor, G major, and C major. And that's basically how easy this chord progression is. It's that simple. Minor 2, major 5, major 1. Now it sounds kind of like blocky and basic, and how can we make this more complicated? Well, for gospel, you can add a 7th. You can always add a 7th in gospel or jazz to make something sound more full. So let's add the 7th to the first chord in our 2-5-1. We start on a D minor, we're going to add our 7th tone, which is a C. So this is a D minor 7. And it already sounds a little better. All right, let's go to our 2nd chord, the G. It's a G major 7, all right? The F on top makes this G major a 7. D minor 7, D major 7, and back to the 1, C major 7, all right? The B is what makes this C major a 7, all right? So that's one sauce level deep already. You've added a 7th to your chords, and that makes it sound more full, a little bit more gospel-y. So the basic version sounds like this. We add a 7th, it gets a little more gospel-y and it sounds like this. Okay, but let's go another layer deep. Let's add even more sauce. Let's go deeper into the Inception world. We can invert these chords and play the notes in different orders so that we're not jumping around the keyboard. We can create some clusters and some color by inverting these chords. So let's try that. Here's our D minor 7, and I actually like that. Instead of jumping from here up to my G, I'm going to play these notes in the G major 7 in a different order. So instead of starting on my G, I'm actually going to start on my D, and I'm going to move my F from the top into the middle of the chord. How about that? I like that. All right, so this is the same G minor 7, all right? There it is. I'm just going to invert it down twice. Okay? So, D minor 7, G major 7, different inversion, C major 7, first inversion. And already that sounds so much better. It sounds intentional and it sounds colorful. And remember last video we talked about rolling into the chord. Okay, that sounds a lot better. But let's add one more layer of sauce. And that last layer of sauce is the 9th. You can add the 7th tone and you can add the 9th tone to make things sound more gospel-ier. More like gospel. How do we do that? here's my 7, and here's my 9, okay? So my 2, here's my D minor 7, 9. I can just add an E in there, and it's even more colorful, but how can I play these notes in a different order so that it's easier? Well, I'm gonna take this E and put it down here. Woo! It's kind of crunchy. All right, so that's a D minor 7, 9. Here's our G major 7, and back to the 1, back to the C, C major 7. So that's pretty saucy. All right, we went from the basic to something that sounds a little more, something more colorful, a little bit more jazzy, a little more gospel-y by adding that 7th and that 9th. Now, the last little trick I wanted to show you was, instead of going 2, 5, 1, sometimes instead of going back to 1, and I used to do this in church all the time, it really opens up the spirit and kind of fosters this more open, worshipful, melodic, aura. Instead of going back to 1, you can go to 4, and you can rustle on that 4 for a while. So, 2, 5, 4. Ah. Come on, just lift your hands in worship. And then go back to the 1. Okay? Now, I love this voicing of the 1 because it adds the D, which is that 9th. Okay, so here's your C major, here's your C major 7, and here's your C major 9. It's that D. So if I add my D in there, it gives me this really pretty voicing of C9, okay? Now this C9, you can almost play this C9 on any bass note in the C major scale. Okay? Anyway, but the point was, sometimes you can go 2, 5, 4. Now this is I am playing the F major over F, which is the 4th tone in this scale, but this is a suspended 2, suspended 2nd, because I'm not playing F major, I'm playing this G, which really makes it seem like you need some resolution, and it's really pretty. You can really rest on this for a while. Okay? That's basically it in a nutshell. We talked about the 2-5-1 chord progression. We added a 7th, we added a 9th sometimes, and then we inverted and revoiced the chord to kind of make it sound more full. And that is the gospel sound. So instead of just learning a song and us going note by note and playing from memory, now we can play from principle. Now we can say, oh, I can just play a 2-5-1 chord progression, add a couple 7ths and 9ths, and that's what sounds gospel-y. You can do this in any key. Let's go to a new key. Let's go to E flat. All right? Minor 2, major 5, and then major 1. I'm adding 9ths and 7ths. All right? That's in the key of E flat. Here's my E flat scale. Okay, so 2, 5, 1. And my bass, 2, 5, 1. So 2 is an F, so I'm going to play my F minor 7. Might even add a 9. That's really pretty. I like that. I think I'm going to stay there for my 5. That's so gospel-y. That's another little gospel lick that I'll show you real quick. Okay, so you're going to play the root note in your left hand, and then just, what do I do? Oh, you're going to walk it down. That's all your left hand is doing. And then my right hand, I'm playing my root note up top, and I'm playing. So really it's these. Okay. That's dumb gospel. That's extra gospel. That's played in every Baptist church across the world every Sunday at some point. But that's it. That's 2-5-1. Add a 7th, add a 9th, add an 11th sometimes. That's what gives it that gospel sound. And leave a comment below if you like it, if you have ideas of your own. I love seeing people put stuff in those comments. If you got ideas of like other progressions or songs that we should talk about, then put it down there. If you liked it, found any value in this video, then please click like. Consider clicking subscribe too if you like this style of video. If you like learning about piano or other tutorial, creative type stuff, hit subscribe so that you're notified when new videos come out. That's it. That's all I got for now. 2-5-1, add a 7th, add a 9th, and start sounding like gospel. See you next time.